Welcome to my first X79 motherboard unboxing. This is the MSI X79A-GD65 8D. So there are two versions of the GD65. This is the 8D version. I'll get into what that means a little bit later. Top quality and stability means we have, yes, military class 3 components on this particular board. So MSI's military class concept was introduced a couple of generations ago, and basically what it amounted to was high quality components that are designed to last a lot longer than the 3-year warranty that they provide. In terms of certifications and support, we've got Intel X79 chipset, supports Intel Core i7 up to Extreme Edition, hence the black logo. Windows 7, Radeon including CrossfireX, SLI, and 1 second overclocking with OC Genie 2. Let's go ahead and flip over onto the back of the board where we'll find a little bit of information about Military Class 3. So we have a second generation of DR or Dr. Moss. We've got, let's see, 3-in-1 package, double the thermal protection, and it gives you an LED warning at 115 degrees and auto shuts down at 130 degrees, so you are protected with double thermal protection. Interesting. Highly conductive polymerized capacitors, or high C caps, which MSI claims have up to an 8 times longer lifespan than standard solid capacitors. Super ferrite chokes were also part, and solid caps were also part of MSI's military class 2 concept, which provide, check this out, up to 12 years of constant full load gaming lifetime and 40 years in an office. If you're still using this computer in 40 years, then it is time for an upgrade. World's first PCI Express Gen 3 mainboard brand. Yes, they were the first with PCIe Gen 3, and this is a PCIe Gen 3 board, and this one's actually awesome. Click BIOS 2 is a phenomenal layout for the UEFI BIOS that MSI includes on their boards. Click BIOS 1 was pretty good, but I'd say ASUS's implementation was a little bit better. With Click BIOS 2, they've actually got what I would say is the fastest to navigate BIOS implementation out there, although I haven't seen ASUS or Gigabyte's X79 boards yet. Included is a little diagram of your board pointing out all the different switches and slots and what you can do with them. There's a couple things here that I would like to, actually, you know what, I'm just going to leave this out and then we'll look at them on the board itself. Here is a multi-GPU Sli Bridge. Here are your M connectors, which allow you to easily plug in your front panel connectors, as well as one of your USB headers. Here we have USB 3 backport I/O shield with an internal USB 3 connector, so you can add additional USB 3 ports to the back of your system if you don't have front USB 3. There's your I/O shield. Here's your drivers and utilities DVD. Go ahead and download the latest from the MSI website. Here's a little MSI quick installation guide showing you how to do some of the basics, including hard drive installation, CPU installation, all that good stuff. Okay, I'm not going to look too closely at that. SATA cables. How many SATA cables do we get? We get 4 SATA 3 6 gigabit per second cables and a couple of Molex to SATA power adapters. We also get one of these cool adapters. So this is an eSATA to SATA cable, a Molex to dual SATA power cable, and then 2 eSATA ports and a Molex port. So we can plug in 2 bare drives externally, which is great for pulling data off drives when you don't have an enclosure handy. Software application user guide, and finally, a user guide for the board itself. Now, let's pull out the board itself, because we have gone through all of the accessories, and oh, look at that, the package is open where the I/O ports were. This is an engineering sample board, so I don't expect the retail packaging to be pristine, just so you guys know. Your board shouldn't come with holes on the I/O ports. I can pretty much assure you of that. So let's go ahead and check out the layout. So first let's take off the sticker, world's first PCI Express Gen 3. We'll throw that on there. And this is an LGA 2011 socket. So it requires not 1, but 2 lever arms, there we go, to pull it up, or to rather to unlock it. It's an enormous socket. And then when you're putting it back down, you're going to go ahead and secure the CPU. So this is the pin protector. You'll remove that when you install your CPU. And then you need to put this one in first, and then this one in order to fully lock the CPU into the socket. So here's our power delivery system going around the 2011 socket, which is only compatible with LG 2011 processors, not backwards compatible. Don't try and put a 1366 Core i7 in there. It's not going to work. Here we have the 8D portion of this particular board. It does support quad channel DDR3 up to 8 DIMMs, which means that if you're using 8 gig DIMMs, yes, it can support up to 64 gigs of memory. No big deal. Pretty outstanding. So you're going to want to populate all 4 blue slots or all 4 black slots. That is the way the color coding is going to work when you are filling up these memory banks. Okay, up here in the top left in its ideal location, we have our 8-pin CPU connector. And then moving over to the right, it's so funny because this is usually where the VRM is, and I see like four slots here, and I want to say, now we've got dual channel DDR3. Yeah, wrong, quad channel DDR3. Okay, so here we have our 24-pin power connector in its ideal location along the right-hand edge. We have a multi-BIOS switch right here, which allows you to switch between 2 physical BIOS chips for the ultimate in BIOS profiling, and also to back up in the event of a corrupted BIOS. Very cool. Here on the side, we have 4 SATA 3 6 gigabit per second ports and 4 SATA 2 3 gigabit per second ports. So you have some flexibility there. Over here we have a post-diagnostic LED. Then we have a USB 2 front panel header with charging. So this allows you, this is a high-powered one, which allows you to charge your iPad, for example, high-powered devices off of the front ports that this one's plugged into. This is not the high-powered one. We've also got USB 3 front panel, and then what else we got here? So we have, actually we can check this out. So here's your front panel connectors. And then we've also got your Voice Genie connector. Fascinating. So that looks like that's going to be an optional add-on for this particular board because it didn't come with it. We've also got our OC Genie button, which is your 1-button overclocking, built-in power button, and built-in direct OC buttons. So that is your base clock adjustments that you can make with your physical buttons here. Front FireWire, auxiliary power for the 5 Pcie 6-pin connectors. So if you do populate all those, you're going to want to plug that in. And finally, front panel audio. So this board has the works on it. In terms of the PCIe slot layout, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total slots. Remember, with all the space that these DIMMs are taking up, it's a lot harder to put a slot here. Duh. I mean, look how long they are. So you are stuck with 6 PCIe slots on most of the X79 boards that I've seen so far. We've got 1, 2, 3 that are wired up for 16x connectivity, and then this guy right here is wired up for 8x, and this guy right here is also wired up for 8x. This is a PCIe 1x slot, so your ideal configuration on this board is going to be to go 1, 2, 3 cards in 3-way SLI or Crossfire with a single additional slot left over for a sound card or a RAID card or some other kind of card. Now, if you install a full-sized dual slot card in this bottom slot, you're going to want to make sure that you have a case like the Corsair 800D that has 8 expansion slots so that you're going to have somewhere to secure that card and somewhere to exhaust the heat that is coming out the back of it. Now let's go ahead and have a look at the I/O ports on the back of the board. So we've got a PS2 port. Yes, PS2 is here to stay. It just keeps not going away. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 USB 2.0 ports, a CMOS clear switch here, optical audio out, coaxial audio out, FireWire, as well as gigabit Ethernet, 2 USB 3.0 ports, and 7.1 audio out. So thank you for checking out my unboxing and first look at the X79A-GD65 8D. This is the board that I am planning to use on my MSI channel for our overclocking guide, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be exciting time.